Okay, it's recording. Hooray! Okay, so this week we're gonna be talking about signals from your audience. Oh, I got another person. Hey Zakia. Okay, I'm trying to press the buttons to get my slides. Okay, I got it. Whoops. Now it's too big for me to press any other buttons.
So, do you the slides um, uh, s- uh, all of us and the slides are um,
Together?
because the flip flop back and forth some slides and you know um, it's these slides and us. Um, uh, do you uh, create a scene there? But or
Mm, I am not sure.
yeah,
So right now we are in audience view.
right,
So when I put the slides on, I think it's like active speaker. It
okay.
goes to active speaker.
So
So I am not sure how to have the slides and us at the same time. That's why I go back and forth.
right,
But if
right.
you
So um, Zoom and meet meet hour and meet hour, but that's um, that's slides and people. So
Yeah. I guess I hadn't pushed too many buttons. There's a long list in here. So there's gallery. So maybe I'll try that
yeah, yeah.
and
It
then
it
I'll
you know it just I know Joe and I, I the slides flash up and you um
I take it
uh
away.
yeah, so and it's hard to memorize, so
Only
yeah,
take it away because I can't see you. But let's see what happens with this gallery view. So I'm gonna
yeah,
share it
yeah,
down to see what happens.
okay, so
Share a screen.
oh,
What
what
about that?
what about Alfano?
What about what?
Alfana?
I don't know that one.
Oh, they just sent out an email on May the 9th. They're shutting down and they're taking all of the money that they got from the Alfana people and putting it into their new software, which is visuals.fm.
Oh, yeah, so uh,
So the LTD community is in an uproar this morning, but that's typically what happens on a Friday.
I
It's like somebody must have told them the playbook of how to rip off Subo links.
And they just got to the 12-month mark a month ago.
Oh, yeah, they planned this ahead of time. That sucks. Okay. How did you guys did you like
uh,
the gallery with the slides? It's just really small.
yeah,
No? Okay.
yeah,
I will do that then. So what your attendees are really telling you, how to track buyer intent, not just attendees. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Are you tracking the wrong things? Registrations, show up rates, replay views. Nice, but none of these tell you who's really ready to buy. And our question is, what's the first metric you usually check after your event ends? And mine is, even though I hadn't done it in a while, is who bought and who bought what. So, what do you check after your event ends? Anybody? Joe, why would you mute for this? I want to know. I want to know your answer. Oh, well, okay. Zakia, do you check anything when you run an event? Like, what's the first thing you go to the your metrics? What do you look at?
The time that people stayed and watched live, and then also those replay viewers.
Right.
Oh, okay. Thomas, do you look at anything?
Yeah. Show up right. So, see, if they're really interested. So, and the replay views. So,
I do think that people who show up and watch the replays, I think that does mean something. So I don't really agree with the whole slide, even though that's not really one of the things I check for.
yeah.
So I am going to push.
I mean, there things happen. So, and the replay views are important, but the show up rate is I think, important. So,
Yeah. So I've signed up for I forgot his name, Stu McLaren, I think his name is, and he's talking about getting people to your event and turning your attendees into buyers. And I haven't attended not a single one. That's like
Yep.
I signed up for it, but I didn't feel like going. He had a topic that I was interested in, and he's given a 24-hour replay. If you buy ahead of time, it's $47. If you buy after it gets started, it's $97. But I didn't want to show up. So
Yeah,
the people who show up, it does matter.
Yeah.
It does matter. Okay. So you were gonna say something, Jeff?
Yeah, being the digital marketer that I am, I look at every dang metric I can get my hands on and then start to dwindle down from there as to what is going to be most useful. So I want to know how many people were reached in the first place, how many people that were reached didn't show. So I look at obviously how many did show. I want to look at, how long they stayed. I want to know how many stayed at a quarter of the way, halfway through, 3/4 of the way, because I'm looking for triggers and drop-off points. These are the leaks in the process, which is basically what I do about everything. Look at where are the leaks,
Right.
and see if you can make improvements. There's a certain percentage that I expect to drop off in anything and everywhere. But when you're doing an event of some type, if you can hold people, to the end and you have a high percentage, you're doing it right, So there's still people can want to be there, but you're still gonna lose people because life is happening at the same time. So I definitely want to see all those sorts of things and then see how it gets down to what conversions I get towards the end of it. And that's my mindset.
Yeah, because if people aren't showing up, you might have a problem with your promotions. You might have a problem with something in your messaging.
So I think it's important to look at all the metrics simply. Obviously you're gonna have your key ones that you are trying to look at in the first place, but I think it's just as important, since it's a lead generation activities, to kind of know what you've got along the way.
Yeah, I believe that to be a true statement. Okay, so vanity metrics versus buyer signals. So we were just talking about how good these things were. So the registration, attendance, and total views versus buyer signals, watch time, call to action clicks, chat engagement, questions asked. One looks good, the other makes money. So our question is, are you measuring what looks impressive or what actually predicts revenue? So I get a lot of questions and comments from the live stream. I got a few downloads from the ebook that goes along with the live stream. I've had people sign up for audits that went nowhere. So, yeah.
Well, and the for the free time, GTA clicks are important, but if the paid engagement, um, yeah, CTAs, upsells, but well, yeah. So it, free versus paid. So that's
Yeah. So I will say that the people who watched were not my target audience. The people who comment, they were very close to it. The people who messaged me for an audit, they were not. And I think it's funny because they told me that they weren't in my questionnaire. I think my questionnaire is pretty well set up, but instead of saying, okay, no, here's a YouTube video or here's a blog post, I went ahead and talked to them. I wish there was an automation for that. Maybe I could ask for it, but yeah, that's what happened. If anybody else would like to jump in on this question of, are you measuring what looks impressive or what actually predicts revenue, go ahead, or else I will push the button to move the slide. Oh, I will take that as a button push. So not all engagement is equal. Watches 5 minutes. Joe was just talking about something like that. Stays the whole time and clicks links. Or versus stays the whole time and clicks links. These are not the same person. No, they're not, because as Joe says, people got other stuff to do. Watch attendees. Which attendees would you follow up with first? Someone who watches 5 minutes or someone who stays the whole time? Anybody else want to go first on that one?
In an automated world, I'd be following up with both at the same time. They would just be in different streams.
Mm-hmm. What is that? A split test email?
No, not necessarily as a test. It's they accomplish different things, so they're going to be met with different messages simply because they were at different points. You missed you missed the thing. Would you like to see the replay, or would you like to see the rest of it? Versus if you stuck, you were there the whole time. What's the next step? What can we do for you? That they're two different mindsets. I guess that's the way I think of it.
Yeah. I don't know if
out of it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, if they stayed the whole time, they didn't click, what's preventing you from the next step? That's what I want to know.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Zakia, Thomas, anything to add?
I'm still sore about Alfana.
Yeah. I understand
the
the
bearer of
feeling.
bad news there, huh?
Yeah,
But
that's 'cause
Zakia
just
and I
talked
use
about
it. I use it a
week.
lot. But yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was singing his high praises, but to answer your question, they're not the same person. Not all engaged. I agree with that. So I'm not sure. What's the question?
The question is, which attendee would you follow up with first? Someone. So Joe, it wasn't saying not to pay attention to the other one. Someone who watches 5 minutes or someone who stays the whole time.
Someone who stays the whole time.
Why would you talk to them first?
Because they were engaged. Someone who watched 5 minutes, there could have been technical issues and all of that. And I don't think I have the bandwidth to go chasing somebody who just had 5 minutes of engagement versus somebody who obviously had a lot more engagement than that 5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
That to me, that's a hotter lead than the 5 minute one. They might have accidentally clicked on and didn't plan on being there.
for sure.
It makes sense. Your fourth session, I had the worst internet. I don't know what happened, but the internet was not working and it would not work for my phone. But yay for me, you had a replay already set up for me. And it was like, because I was struggling. Joe, I got to ask you one more time. You said if there was a perfect automated world, you'd do both at the same time. But since we can't set up the automation for both at the same time, which one first?
Oh, well, the one who's gotten the farthest, if I'm not testing both at the same time, automatically.
Okay. I was going to say, no concern for me who had internet troubles, but really was trying.
Well, that's kind of why my mentality is both at the same time, because sometimes there are issues. I've been on the other end of that, where, especially living where I'm at right now, or I get on something and couldn't go through and watch the whole thing, and it wasn't my fault. So yeah, I totally understand it from that perspective.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think I had it happen. I got this. If you've seen Hey Summit, there's a whole thing of showing you who's there and who watched and for how long. And there's a whole separate section for and emails to broadcast. And sometimes I just want to write out, dang, you missed it. And it was a great session too. You missed this, and this. But here's a clip. You can go and watch the replay, whatever. But yeah, I have these ideas, but no follow through yet. Thomas, you have anything to add?
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
I agree with the 100% versus 5 minutes, because
It does make sense.
5
though.
minutes is enough to see if you're engaged, and it just isn't for you. So I have, it according to Zekia, so I didn't have the bandwidth to, so yeah.
Okay. It does make sense. So your hottest leads are already showing themselves. Stay longer. Oh, I'm sorry. People to look for. Stay longer, or these are buying behaviors equals or behaviors equal buying signals. So these are the people you look for who stay longer. Zakia said it. Interactive chats, polls, Q&As, clicks your links, watches replays. And our question is, which attendee's behavior tells you someone is most likely ready to buy? Any of these? Thomas, you want to go first?
Hottest
You
reads
went last
are already showing themselves. Stay longer. It's I think stay longer is in super engagement. So
Okay. Joe, Zakia? You can say if the slide is leaving something out too. Oh.
I think right now it's a very narrow view of where thinking that people are there to buy. In my instance, they've already brought the ticket. So I'm not looking for those signals of what's the next thing that they're going to buy. I'm looking for, are they applying what they came to get? So
That's a good
so in this context of your hottest leads are already showing themselves, is this for the free stuff that we're putting out on social media or the people that are in our events?
Oh, I did assume that they were already in the event.
Which,
but I'm
they
not
would've-
supposed to assume.
No, but it's so maybe it was a free event that you were using as an acquisition event.
right, yeah.
Oh,
So if it's an acquisition event, I think I would go with staying longer. A lot of people don't want to interact in chat. Clicking the links, those staying longer and clicking links.
okay. You
Yep.
made a good point. Oh,
Well,
I was thinking.
yeah.
Go ahead, Thomas.
Well, yeah, free events versus paid events. So,
It does make a difference.
yeah, it makes a huge difference. So, this um, um, uh, s- uh, free events, as so. Ne- Never mind.
I was with you,
Getting the
Thomas.
signals, yeah.
All right, then. So, I was thinking, buying a ticket would have been a good signal that they were interested.
Right.
Mhm.
But it's not on there. It's not on the list. Joe, what you got? Anything to add?
No, I was just trying to go backward and think, okay, what Zakia, you were saying, you're thinking if you had a paid event, it changes the picture and you want to see if they're how engaged they are by the activities that they're performing that were inside of the event, right? So in other
Yeah.
words, like in a class or something like that, and how much they're, yeah, I'm with you because I'm running a class right now, and it tells me it's funny how you almost have to hold hands with people in a workshop, all because they won't get it done until the day of and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I was thinking when I was reading this, I was thinking of a free event, and to me, basically, the first everything but the interact, I thought was I guess if you're trying to see who was the hottest, I didn't realize I was trying to do that. I think all of those are just strong signs, and the ones that matter most to me are how long did they stay and what were they clicking on, and if they clicked on a link, what is it that's preventing them from take the next step? That's always what I'm thinking. It never stops. Why didn't they go to the next step? Hooray
Yep.
for the ones who bought, but why? What's keeping the other ones? Why is the percentage so low?
Yeah.
Why?
But even if it's not low, it's just always, I try to. I'll give you the mentality I had when I did martial arts. I was a competitive martial artist and rated really high in Southern California and all that kind of stuff. One of the things I did was I did what I called the impossible drill. I went in front of a mirror and tried to fight myself in front of the mirror. What does that do? It's impossible to beat the guy in the mirror, right? So, but it's great. You can read yourself. You can see everything you're doing right. You can see everything you're doing wrong. And that helps you read it in other people and helps you reduce things for other people. When I'm looking at my events, I'm kind of looking for the perfection. I'm trying to be, every single person buys. If every single person doesn't buy, I want to know what's preventing that person from getting to the 100% level. And so that way I keep optimizing and improving and optimizing and improving. And there's going to be a level where it plateaus. And I want to know at the plateau, can I get it any better than that? And then I'm going to go on to the next thing because there's only so much you can do. But that's my mindset when I look at anything where I'm looking at, any of the metrics I can do to improve and increase things.
How do you know that you have invited the right people for them to buy?
The indicators will be earlier. So the indicators will be, okay, if 500 people were invited and one person showed up, well, there's the problem right there. If 500 people were invited and 300 decide to show up, that means I'm in a good audience. That's what is it, 60%? If I'm in a 60% zone, I'm doing really well. I'm doing extremely well. So I think I told you I'm in another group. I was doing a count the other day on Tuesday morning. I'm in another group. There were 10 people there, and 5 of them are my clients. I'm like, oh, okay.
Nice.
I'm in the right place, talking to the right people. So it's, I use numbers like that, and I'm sick with numbers. I'm freaking Spock in human form.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it also gets you let go.
Oh.
He has no personality. He doesn't want to talk about his dogs.
Well,
That's a story that I could share with you guys one day, but this isn't the time.
okay.
Okay. Now I'm wondering, Joe, I'm nosy. So pushing buttons now.
But when you take the recording off, I'll tell you it all.
All right. Know who you're dealing with. Intent driven clicked, asked, stayed. Only one group is ready for an offer, engaged, watched, maybe interested, or interacted. Sorry, passive, registered, or barely watched. If they registered or barely watched, I don't think they're interested. Can you currently identify who your intent-driven audience are after an event?
Intent
Like,
driven.
yeah, can you
I'm
tell?
picking them up during the event because they're emailing me and text messaging me their what they're doing from after each class and what it
Nice.
is that they want going forward. So it's happening in the moment. I'm sad that I made this 9 weeks. I should have done maybe 3 weeks and maybe twice a week because it's stretching it out for a long, going almost into the summertime. But it's the people that are sending me the text message like, this is what I did. This is a graphic that was created. What do you think about this? And then what they're asking for, it's telling me what the next offer is.
Okay, I was gonna say, didn't you have an offer after it finished? Aren't they
Yeah, but
supposed to
that's
sign up
a
for a membership?
community, and I really don't want to do a community. That's not my
Oh,
strong suit. No.
oh. I really thought people would enjoy a community with you.
If they signed up, I refund it. I don't want to do a community. I know that about myself. I am not consistent in that way.
That's my
I
worry.
understand.
That's one of the hindrances in what I do because I wanted to just do a course, do courses, and then yeah, so have the other things that are kind of related to what I do with my podcast. But I was like, I don't want to every single Tuesday. What if I don't feel like going? Okay, I'm gonna go. So then I'm not gonna be the motivated, excited person to be able to run the course, or I'm not gonna be as all into it. So I totally understand that.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
I might change if the volume is the I might change my mind, but I did it with the soap makers and it was oh gosh, I gotta log on again. Like I didn't that's just not my forte. I put me in build mode. Let me build some stuff and I'm happy all day. But showing up,
you know
no.
what? You have. I'm sorry, and I know we're going to gone off
Sorry, I'll
topic.
be right back.
We're both doers, I
Yeah.
think. And being a doer, I don't. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. 100%. I just interviewed somebody else who is a behind the scenes doer. She puts everything together, and she's a doer. She's finally getting out in front of it, but it's a struggle for her to get out in front of it. And I saw that. I've seen that now. She's like her last 6 weeks. She got her podcast out there for 6 weeks in a row, plus extra content in between that wasn't her actual podcast because she doesn't have a video podcast. So she's putting out shorts. And I'm like, wow, that just takes so much work, and that's so difficult to stick with. But I totally get it. I give me something to do. Don't let me. I don't always want to sit there and try, even though I can talk too dang much.
Oh,
But
okay.
something we talked about, can I just add this on? Because here's the pull for community. Something we've talked about over and over again is how do you separate yourself, right? With all, if I can just type the question in AI and get the answer, why do I need your course?
Yeah.
And so that community is that thing that AI can't do. So that's where I'm torn. Like,
Yep.
you might
Yep.
not like it, but this is the way the industry is going. And if you think you're just going to do a course, it's going
That's
to be
what
short lived.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was looking at. And the only thing
Exactly.
is, I could see is how do you make the difference? Well, if your course is a workshop instead of here's all the information, if your course is a workshop, we'll do it in class. That's the bridge between the two. And that's kind of right where I'm at right now is like, I'm
Nice.
really testing my course again. Not that I didn't do it before this way, but I'm really doing it as a workshop. We're going to, no, you need to do this here in class. No, I mean, it's not like you have to do it here in class. I'm not a school teacher, but I'm like, no, I would love for you to have this here today. Please have this here today. Email, make sure you have this when we get there today. We're going to go over this in class. I mean, I want them to have it so we can discuss and look at, because I think some of the feedback, you get some of the best feedback. Like I tell people, look on AI, come up with everything yourself. use AI to brainstorm and see if you can add more, and then take it and test it against real people, because no matter what you do with AI, you could still be way off base, and so you still need to test it with people and see how it's going to work out.
Yeah. So I was in Zakia's class, and everything is like just, it seems like it's simple because she told me what it was and what to do, and I did it and it worked. And then I hear people asking questions and like, how do you, I think one lady asked, how do you do this? And I'm complaining to my husband, Eric. I'm like, why didn't they understand? Because it was so simple for me. And he's like, everybody's not you. Everybody's not going to get it just because you get it. And I'm like, oh, that's how it works. So,
and the important thing is Zakia's class is like a cohort class, and not talking head class. So that's the important thing, and the driver for the new information age, I guess. So that's the intent, is to do things and not talk and so that's important.
Yeah.
Really important. So
Yep.
yeah. I was going to say, at the same time, I didn't understand why some people didn't understand in her class. And at the same time, I'm in Jimmy's class talking about CRMs, and it was so far over my head. I couldn't get it either. And I'm like, dang.
Welcome to Teaching 101. Everybody's not in the same spot.
Yep.
You have to meet them where they are.
Now I'm nosy. You guys know. I get frustrated when people want to drive the new car off the lot and they don't care nothing about the car. And I compare this to virtual events all the time, that people just wants to host an event. They don't care about the audience, and they don't care about the follow-up. And I'm wondering, am I pushing this on people? Because Joe, you said you just wanted to make the course. And Zakia, you said you didn't want to have the community after. I'm not sure if Thomas said anything, but I'm wondering about that. I feel like those things all go together, but I also don't know if I'm just trying to push that on people. Well, my aunt, she has a Sunday school on Saturdays, but there's no YouTube channel. There's no place for the people to see the replays if they missed it. And she says it's just a Sunday school on a Saturday. And I'm thinking there's a lot missing, but I don't know if I'm pushing that on people. Yeah. Okay, I'll push the button. Track this, not everything. Focus on watch time, click behavior, engagement actions, or replay activity. If it doesn't signal intent, it's noise. Our question is, which of these engagement signals are you tracking consistently right now? If any of these. If it's not on the list, feel free to add it or something else. Zakia, you want to go first?
No.
Okay. Joe, you want to go
watch
first?
time, click behavior, engagement actions,
That's
replay
kind of
activities.
That's a challenging question.
Yeah.
I go from the gallery view here down into the presentation view, and I'm sitting there really digging in, and I'm like, I don't know if there's one I focus on more than the other.
Yeah. Is there like a which one first kind of thing?
Yeah. Probably watch time and engagement actions.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty good. I think I'd go with engagement first. If they're engaging, I think they may have been watching,
And I think
but I'm
of
guessing.
watch time as an engagement. So
Mm.
I kind of tend to think. So then
Well,
I stopped and got stuck on click behavior. What exactly are they doing? Click behavior, or are they just clicking onto the site and not taking action after that, or what are the
right.
tracking? What's the tracking tell me after the click behavior? That's what when I read that one, I was sitting there thinking, how much detail am I getting beyond the click behavior? So did they scroll down this how much of the page? Because I tend to have things where I can see what percentage of the page do they look at, where do they go, where do they touch, and where do they click, and things like that. So I'm into analytics tracking that way too.
Well,
Yeah.
typically, the cohort class, such as Zakia's, the engagement is two-way street, and that keeps the um, engagement. He's yeah. So watch time versus engagement and uh, engaging the okay. So yeah, did that make sense? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like engagement and click behavior because if I'm dropping links, I would want them to click on that. And I guess as Joe says, engagement and watch time or watch time is an engagement because I don't think it works without the other. Zakia, did you have anything to add to this one?
No, I would agree with all of that you said,
Okay.
especially that click behavior. If I'm dropping links and you're not clicking on them.
But can I go back to before we go discuss this slide? I just want to say what Thomas was saying in there is that again, I'm not thinking of a live event that's already happening if they paid to be in. So if they paid to be in it, excuse me, my thought also becomes, okay, what is the live engagement? Is their live engagement? And how many people, if you're teaching well, how many people need to show or want to show what they've done or want to share what they did or were successful in sharing? Because some people are going to be like, okay, I did that. I did it well. Let's go on to the next thing. What are we learning next? Whereas other people are going to be stalled. I want to show you mine, teacher. This is how well I did. So, what is the engagement factor there? It's hard to judge which engagement is the right engagement at that point, unless they're like, hey, I'm struggling, then that one's a different engagement. That's the one, they are
yeah,
trying to get it done. You got to deal with it. So to Thomas's point of bringing that up in live engagement or in the live event that they paid to be in, you're talking about different behaviors. And so you're talking about different engagement metrics and what to identify as what's important to deal with. Because there are going to be those people who just, I got it right. I'm waiting for you to go on to the next. And I can picture one of them with their hand on her chin on her hand right now. Like, what's taking you guys so long? I got this, So
And then to that point, you can't measure the same engagement. Some people might be really engaged and never say a word, never put a comment in. That's just their style. But that doesn't mean they weren't engaged throughout the entire session.
Yep.
so how do you judge it?
Becomes a judge-free zone. No, I don't know.
That's deflection.
I guess if they keep coming back.
Yeah.
Like maybe I said nothing, but I came to every session and stayed the entire time.
There you go.
Okay.
Uh-oh. No mic.
My daughter Maya is singing in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear her, so I thought I'd mute. Can you guys hear her? Because she's still singing.
Yeah.
Okay. She enjoys it. Tracking is useless if you don't use it, and I hardly use it. If your data isn't event data going into your CRM, triggering segmentation, driving follow-up, you're just collecting numbers. I have a lot of numbers. Our question is, what happens to your event data after the event is over? It's still sitting in Hey Summit right now. It's still sitting in SendFox right now. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that data. How about you guys?
Come see me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So affiliate marketing is, you know, the next event personally, but affiliate marketing to Zakia, Joe, things like that is, you know, I don't know how Zakia and Joe affiliate market, but you know, that's driving follow up is, you know, something.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great point because it's one thing that don't do enough of. That's on my wheelhouse. I'm like, I got all this affiliate stuff. When I bring it up and I have a chance, and I say, oh, I have a link, but it's like I should push that more. But you know, one of the things I would do if you haven't been doing something with your data is you got to go back and re-engage. Take the data, all the people in the CRM, you got to re-engage and start filtering them. You know, hey, I got with you on this event or that event. Are you still interested in learning more? Let them filter themselves out. You want to weed out the ones who are not interested, and then get to the ones. Okay, what would you like to see next? You know, we have this coming up, that coming up, or I would like your input. But you got to start getting them triggered into tag, so that you know which way to guide them. In fact, going back and asking them, why were you interested in this? You know, if you can. So, ooh, can't read. Got my glasses. I'm old.
Okay. Zakia, you had anything to add to that?
Just answering Tom's question, affiliates, they are embedded in some of the workbooks that are part of the course resources. So it's aligned with what I'm teaching during the week. Some people are clicking on those links. I think I probably could do a better job of during the event and after the event follow up, but I'm building it as we're going. So it's not like a complete curriculum. Every week I'll be building the slides for tonight at noon. So so I don't really have the bandwidth for and then do this while I'm at it. But once I have this curriculum done, I'll be able to plan that differently because it's pre-recorded at that point.
Yeah. And then just update. So.
Take out Alfana.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, you guys use CRMs?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I should try harder to use mine. I have one. I just don't use it. I have a Sales Flare. I got it from AppSumo, maybe 2017, maybe a little sooner than that. So some things still work.
Yeah.
Huh?
The email list is everything. So the CRM is so in person versus email. It's everything. So
where have I heard that one before?
Yeah.
Email is everything.
It's all about your list.
Yeah. It's the list over and over and over again.
Yeah. I remember the days when I didn't get it, and I was like, "Why? I don't understand." But now,
yeah,
I 100% get it.
Yep.
I do have my email list. I just don't have it attached to my CRM.
Whoa.
Yep. Okay, back to pushing buttons. Everyone gets the same follow-up. So no shows get the same email as hot leads, engaged viewers, hot leads, engaged attendees get the generic message. That's how you lose conversation conversions. Does everyone in your audience get the same follow-up after your event?
No.
No.
So for me, yes, they do. So yeah, they do. I have not split them. So
You should probably see a funnel coach.
Yeah.
So if you're active on my email list, you get an email. If you're not, you're just, I don't want to say discarded, but you don't get emails. So the emails that I send out for stuff like this is under a list that says virtual summiteers, and those are the only people that get them. And when it is for the recap goes to everybody.
Can I ask
But-
a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Seriously, this is kind of a serious question. When you run an event, what is the purpose of your event? Just the sale?
To get people here,
To get people there.
right here, virtual summiteers.
Okay. So then the end point, I think it's kind of a look at your goal. And what do you want your goal to be, I guess, is where we're going with the list. And my end goal is always the list and sale, but the list gives me opportunities to have other sales because I can upsell, downsell, go a different direction with people. The more people I have to be able to address and find out and identify their triggers. So I guess that's where it comes back to is my purpose. Even though I'm doing an event and I want to sell something on this event, is my purpose is also still tied to the fact that I want more people on my email list so that I can do more and come up with more ideas to make more money in the future.
Yeah.
So Joe meet Erica, and Erica meet Joe. So
Nice to meet you, Joe. But I haven't hosted an event in a good long while. I want to say it's been 3 years now. I was supposed to host one this year, but I fell off.
yeah,
It happens.
it's Joe brings up an important point, and there's this not not attendees. Well, no, never mind. So
Oh,
Yeah.
You had me invested, Thomas.
yeah, well, Joe brings up attendance versus non-attendance. These are different lists. So
I do have a button for that. I'm using SendFox, and the button says, dang, I forgot what the button says, but people who have opened recently and the people who've not, and I can click that button to send it only to the people who have opened recently. And I use that a lot.
okay.
So do this after your next event. Segment your audience into, so you have the one event, you got the no shows, you got the attended, high engage, send 3 different follow-ups. That's the different shift. So our question is, how would your results change if you send different follow-ups based on attendee behavior? So, So I guess I could unclick that button and then talk to the people who didn't show up and talk to the people who did. I could send them different messages, I guess.
different messages. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to
Anybody
bring
want
up something here about this is not about the slide. This is just about what Thomas said at the very beginning of the show. I don't know how many of you guys use the different views, but like Thomas said, by having it in this view here, what is it, the gallery view, then you can actually go to presentation and actually look at the slide in depth. If you're not doing that, I just thought I'd bring that out because of what we said at the very beginning as we started this. Sorry, just
No.
I've been going through that, and I just wanted to make sure other people were doing it too.
I don't even see a button for presentation, but maybe it's different for me.
Under view, you don't see that as the bottom button of the before the line, before it goes to audio only mode.
Let's see. In the very bottom, it says full screen.
No. Mine goes gallery, active speaker, including yourself, active speaker, excluding yourself, audience view, and presentation view. So I was just wondering.
Okay. I see it. It's grayed out for me.
I got it. That's why. Because you're the presenter.
Yep. That's what it says. Presentation mode is enabled when someone else is screen sharing.
So, sorry, I didn't mean to take you away from the slide, but going back to the slide, yeah, you got to do this.
I will try and let you guys know what happens. Anybody else have anything to add to this? How would your results change if you sent different follow-up based on attendee behavior?
Well, I will tell you a step further than this after I go through this and try to send them down. Let's just say I use this as an example. I went to no show attended and highly engaged. Each one's got a different follow-up of 3. Eventually there's going to get to be a point where they actually dump back into my general list of they've been to an event. So now continue nurturing them on with more general information, but you try to take them through a path first and then take them and put them into the general category.
Okay. Thomas, Zakia, anything to add? All right.
No, it's different events and different, yeah.
Okay. Your data is talking. Are you listening? Stop tracking for reports. Start tracking for revenue decisions. Behavior tells you who is ready. And our question is your data helping you make revenue decisions or just filling reports? I guess it depends on if you use it. And like I told you, I haven't been using it. But I will start. Are you going to say something, Joe?
No, that's kind of asked and answered.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Want help identifying your hottest leads? If you want to turn to your events in, I can't even talk now. If you want help to turn your event data into clear buyer signals, book a strategy call or start with an audit. Joe will help you because you know I don't know the answer to this. Joe will help you. So how valuable would it be to know exactly who your hottest leads are after every event? It'd be very valuable. Like I've told you before, I don't really reach out to people. People reach out to me. I am more inbound than outbound, but I'm going to try do more outbound now. Joe, do you have anything to add to this? Thomas?
Book a strategy call or start with event audit. No.
Okay. I think, got one more. Stop ghosting your hottest leads, event follow-up that actually converts. We get into a behavior-based email sequence, how to follow up without sounding salesy, turning engagement into actual sales. This is where conversion happens. I guess, this should be the last question. What's harder for you right now? Knowing who to follow up with or knowing what to, I don't know what that last word is. Yeah, notebook, putting their name on everything makes it hard to read stuff. So Anybody want to try to figure it out? What's harder for you right now, knowing who to follow up with or what to something?
What to say?
Ah, you can see it.
No, I'm just judging by. I used to do email at a car dealership for 2 years or 3 years, and so I'm sure that says what to say, judging by it looks like a Y is the third letter.
I pushed a button. Sorry.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think it says what to say. But my thought process in this is let's see, if they care enough to show up, they care enough for you to follow up. If they care enough for you to follow up, then you got to use the data to try to figure out where they wanted to go and what they wanted to do. I go back to you. I just mentioned the car dealership because at the car dealership, what made me, I was unique, and I actually set some. The funny story is I set some records simply because I approached automotive um, email differently than it was being approached at the time. I didn't approach it like a salesman, just get in here and I'll sell you anything. It was, what are you looking for? What do you need? What would you like? What is it that you like about this? Is, what questions do you have? What can I answer for you? And let them kind of guide themselves down the path as opposed to me telling them, just hurry up and get here, hurry up and get here, and hurry up and get here. And so the bottom line is in the United States for Kia dealerships, I was at the number 6 Kia dealership in the nation at the time, and I set records for the Western United States. I was the leader in west of the Mississippi in conversions to sales from email, and there was all kinds of email stats that I led the nation or was second in nation in, and it was simply because the mindset wasn't sell, sell, sell. They're not here to buy right now. They're here on email to learn, or they can, and so when I relate that to the events or anything else that I'm doing now, you got to take a look at I always think about what is the buying cycle? What's the length of time it takes to buy for them to buy? And I go through the nurturing mindset of they want different things in different stages, and the things they'll participate in or the things they'll ask about will help them self-identify where they are in the buying process. And when you get them to the right point and you can identify where they are, then okay, now maybe I just need to pull out and put a promotion in front of them because now it looks like it's the right time for them to buy, or or they're not ready yet. Are they interested in coming to test drive? If they want to test drive, great, and they're close, and that's kind of like in a decision stage. So in my mindset, even back then, I was using the buyer's journey and didn't realize I was identifying the buyer's journey and putting the information in within the buyer's journey and didn't realize it. So it made me different. I wasn't going straight for the jugular, got somebody and try to sell them today. No, they're reaching out because they needed to go through some processes, and that's why we ended up doing a lot better than the average. The funny end of that story is the day I had already turned my 2-week notice, and the day I was leaving the company, the district manager came and he wanted to know who this guy was in the internet department and what was he doing, because he wanted to do it across all the region, And I remember the owner of our dealership saying, "Oh, that's Joe. He's just doing the, And that guy says, "No, you need to not belittle what he's doing. What he's done is he understands what's happening on the internet differently." And it was simply, I understood the buyer's process, the buyer's journey, but I didn't know how to put it in words. Wasn't aware of it at the time, or wasn't using that. And I was using that mentality without realizing that it was called something. But I'll never forget the look when he shut down the owner who always belittled what I was doing.
Interesting. Knowing that the tags of where your leads come from is important too. So a lead magnet versus a second lead magnet is important as the tags. So you can email specific tags, and so knowing what to say can fine tune it. So do you do you tag Erica?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I think everybody should tag. Yeah.
So my email list is tagged, and my short links are pixeled.
Okay.
So, like it said earlier, I know how to collect the data. I just don't know how to use it. But
Okay.
it's there, and it's
Well-
organized. So, yay for that part for half stepping.
Well, so yeah, Joe is your answer. So that's these the hot funnelytics funnel person. So yeah.
Thomas, you said Funnelytics. Are you familiar with Funnelytics, the software?
Yeah.
I
So
figured it came out of your mouth. You must be. I like that software.
yeah. It's I haven't used it but I am looking at using it, and it's outstanding. So
Yeah. There's variations and ways to do things
yeah.
that I found, but they built that software type of thing into Kartra at one time, and then they pulled it out. But anyway,
Okay.
or you get to have a higher level. Anyway, what that is, just so you know, is Funnelytics is a mapping. It's a mapping funnel, so you can see literally. You can map out every stage of a funnel. One of the things I do is I do my funnels in 3 different ways, and so you take those leads that you were talking about, Erica, and if they're tagged, then you can say, okay, these ones, like you saw on the slide before, these ones are going to go through this process up here. These ones are going to go through this process straight across, and these ones are going to go down to this process. And anyway, it's a visualization tool to help you identify. And it's so much more than that. Without showing you, it's not fair to discuss. But basically, you can see where are they coming from. These are the sources that put people into your funnel, into your event.
Right.
So did they come from YouTube? Did they come from Google Ads? Did they come from Facebook, whatever? And then once you get them in there, what are you going to do? If they do this, then you do that. If they don't do this, then you do that. And so that's where the process of what I was describing, you would see it on a Funnelytics map of why I'm so keen to understand where they are and what they're accomplishing in the funnel, because the things that we were mentioning in these slides, like what was the time somebody who's viewed for 15 minutes versus somebody who's viewed 95%, the way I approach them is going to be different, and it's going to be mapped out in the funnel map, and you'll be able to see where they go and what I'm going to do and what email I'm going to send them, and what the next steps are going to be. So it's kind of relates real heavily to what we're talking about today. Just
Yeah.
Okay.
And so do you have everybody tagged, Erica? I'm just saying.
I mean, they're tagged as they tell me where they came from, or like
Right.
what lead magnet was used to get them there,
Yeah.
or if they watched the video for how long,
Oh, good.
and who else was there.
Yeah.
And do
That's
you
what-
have them tagged if they bought or they did not buy?
Right.
Yeah.
Very good. And you got plenty.
Yeah. You got 90% of the
Yeah.
yeah.
I told you when I was in Jimmy's class talking about CRMs, I was like, what? Why do I need a CRM? What's it do? So I have SalesFlare, I have SendFox, and I have Hey Summit. And I thought since SendFox had the emails, my Hey Summit was connected to SendFox. I didn't really need to hook up my CRM, but apparently it does something different than what Hey Summit and SendFox does altogether. I just don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The least of your worries. So email list is everything. So
Do you read
it's yeah, and Jimmy primarily deals with existing businesses and stuff, and where we are online, so it's as an email list is fine. As I CRM is too much. So too much. So
Like, I've been without Thumo for a long time, so I've had that CRM for a long time. I think
yeah.
I've got it in 2017. I also have reply.io. It hooks up to LinkedIn, and it has its own CRM. But again, I don't know how to use that one either. But thank you. The conversion path starts next Friday. Your attendees are already telling you what they want. Next, we turn that into conversations or conversions. See you next Friday. And this will be our last question. Are you ready to stop guessing and start tracking intent? So that's it. We got a whole 11 minutes left. Anything interesting that happens?
Well, during this call, Alfana sent an email backtracking, and they're saying they're not asking us to upgrade. They're going to upgrade us to their creator plan on that new one. So they have seen the flames from the LTD community. And, yeah. He completely changed the subject on it and everything. So very interesting.
Well, that's good. And Uproar got them to change their mind
in an hour.
Wow. Very nice.
Oh yeah.
I'm still mad at Invanto. I'm still mad at Perfect Recall. But even a little bit with Airmeet. Airmeet still lets me use it, but still, dang. It's nice to find a company that keeps their word. You use them, you brag about them to your friends and whoever will listen. Then I'm like, I'm gonna cut you off now. I don't like that.
Yeah. I say psych.
Yeah. Anything going on this April for you guys? Have you been enjoying the start of Q2 so far? No? Why not, Joe?
Oh, just personal stuff.
Oh, okay. Too many people asking about your dogs. It's okay.
I kind of started with that, actually.
Just say, I have a dog. And that can be it.
When the recording goes off, I'll say more.
Well, I used to have a dog. Thomas, did you get another dog?
Nope.
Oh, she's very pretty though. Zakia, do you still enjoy Milo?
No, absolutely not.
Dang.
Age is biting, but no, I am not an animal lover. Listen, if it's just me, my computer, and my phone, I am in heaven. All that other, no, I'm just kidding. No, Milo's good.
I was gonna say, it's so adorable.
I do have the Lavender Conference in Virginia is coming up, so I'll be there teaching a cold process soap class and then AI for small business. So I'm doing 2 workshops there.
Nice. I always wonder, how do you get the liquid out of something with a cold process? I always think it's gonna stick to like whatever's making it trying to come out.
So do you mean cold press? So there's cold processed soap, which
Oh,
is
I didn't know
you're
it was two different things.
okay. So with cold process, you're not using heat. You're using the exothermic reaction where the temperature from the ingredients colliding is creating the soap process. So that's why it's considered cold process, because you're not adding heat, external heat to it. It's not being done in a crock pot. But if you were doing it
Oh,
in a crock pot, that's hot process. Cold press is how they are typically pressing um, the different herbs to get the oils out. Again, it's just that you're not using any external heat to get those constituents.
oh. So now I'm thinking everything is room temperature.
Yeah.
No.
Well, no. When I do the cold process soap, remember lye, when you make that lye solution, it goes up to about 180 degrees Fahrenheit. So we typically wait for that to come down to about 100, which is still above room temperature, but it's caustic. So when you mix that with the oils and butter, then the temperature rises. And as it's turning into soap, the temperature continues to rise. So it's not room temperature, but you haven't intentionally added heat to it, which makes it cold process.
Okay. Now I better understand. I'm not going to say that I fully understand. I told you I tried to make a laundry detergent. What I didn't tell you is that I don't think I did a good job of it. But I tried. I put forth some effort.
Always try again.
Yeah. But I wish I could make it and it worked. I mean, it smelled good, but that's all it did. I don't think it cleaned anything. Clothes got wet and it smelled good.
coconut. Try 100% coconut oil. That's very cleansing and can be very harsh to the skin. But in a laundry soap, it'll get your stuff white as ever. I'll send you a
Wow.
recipe.
Oh, well, thank you. I thought about what's that? The fabric softener. I thought it was clogging up the line to the wash machine, and all I've heard about coconut oil is don't put it in the sink. But I will dare to put it in the wash machine.
I never thought about that. Well, before I send you the recipe, I'll do some research, because you're not calling me from, ma'am, you clogged my drains with the recipe you sent. Absolutely not.
How do I clean my washing machine? Yeah. I made some mouthwash with what's that stuff called? We just said it, coconut oil, and everything I've read about it said do not put it in the sink. You either put it in a trash can or you go outside. Don't you dare put it in the sink.
We have to be careful of sewer because septic system, so
Yeah.
it doesn't get flushed away.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have a septic tank or if it's sewer. I think it's a sewer. Yeah, sewer.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Thank you so much, Erica, for your consistency. It's always great to meet with you all on Fridays.
Hooray!
And I see you later. So
Yeah, good to see y'all too.
Okay. All righty.
Bye for
Bye-bye.
I need to leave here too. So good to see you.